Hi, Morgana.
Hi.
I'm delighted to be here with you today to interview you for the Cozy Mystery Book Club. You are our spotlight author for the month of September. I can't actually believe that September is nearly over. Just looking at the
Oh,
date there. Not quite
crazy.
sure how that happened.
Oh, it's terrible. Christmas was yesterday.
I know. And now there are already Christmas decorations in the stores. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, it's terrible.
So you are the USA best-selling author of Cozy Mystery series, and you grew up in the Australian outback. Is that correct? With
That's
wild
correct.
animals and crazy insects.
Everything trying to kill you.
Oh my God. I freak out if I see a spider. I think I would be just finished if I saw some of the things that you have.
I am almost too. I don't like spiders or snakes.
Okay, but you can't get away from them.
No, you can't, sadly.
But speaking of animals, before we dive into your books, I know that you have a couple of dogs, and one of them is actually not a dog, she's a dingo, is that right?
She's a rescue dingo, that's right.
Okay, I'm fascinated about this because I've heard about dingoes and seen pictures of them, but I've never heard of anybody having a dingo as a pet. Is that common in Australia?
It's not terribly common. I wouldn't be able to tell you the figures, but some people do have them as pets. But it's not common at all, really. The vet I used to have where I used to live knew someone who also had a dingo as a pet, and she said they're different from dogs. They're much easier to handle, she felt.
Okay.
And but Lady doesn't look like the dingo you'd see on TV because she's a bit fat.
Okay.
She's eats a lot. So usually the dingoes you see as poor things are starving, so they look quite
Okay.
ruddy, and like greyhounds, whereas she doesn't.
She's well fed and well looked after.
She's well fed and she sleeps on the sofa all day. So yeah.
Oh, that's super sweet.
Would you
And you
like me
have
to?
another dog as well.
I have Penny, a chocolate Labrador,
Okay. And
and
do they get
she's
along well?
they're best friends. They're both 8, but Penny acts like a puppy.
Okay.
She's out of control. Would you like to see them?
I would
I,
love to.
I need a carrot, their favourite treat,
Okay.
and I have to dip the carrot in peanut butter
Oh,
to try
wow.
to
Okay.
make them behave because Lady only eats carrots in peanut butter. So I'll just call them in. Hey, Lady. Come to the carrot. Come on. Hey, Lady. Here. Here you go. Hello. Yeah, you too. Here we go.
Hey there.
Come here, sweetie. Here she is. See her?
Oh, she's adorable. Oh, is that one of her favorite snacks then? Peanut
That's
butter and
loves
carrots.
peanut
Yeah.
butter and carrots.
Oh, nice.
The camera, I'm afraid. Look at the camera. Turn around.
She's looking for her food.
I
Where's my
don't know.
snack?
There. I don't know if you can you see?
Oh, yes, I can. Yeah, yeah.
Lady. She's sitting on the bed now.
Ah, making herself comfortable. Well, why not?
Well, I'll just give her the carrot and put her out. Come on. There you go. I think she was a little bit camera shy.
Oh, she's very well behaved.
Yes.
Like no barking, nothing.
Dingoes don't bark.
They don't bark. Okay.
No,
And I
no, they
really
have.
have just outed myself as a complete dingo idiot. So yes, please take me on this.
No, most people don't know that. They don't bark, but they have a high-pitched whine that they
Okay.
warn the other dingoes by using this strange whine.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much for introducing her to us.
That's okay. She was a bit reluctant to come in.
She's probably, as you said, camera shy.
Yes.
Not quite ready for the limelight yet.
That's right. She's so cute.
She is.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about cozies, can you remember the first cozy mystery you ever read, either as a kid or as an adult, or a book that verged on cozy?
I used to read a lot of Agatha Christie as a child.
Me too.
I was obsessed. You too?
Yes, still
Yes.
am.
Yes. I mean, genius, isn't she?
Totally.
I read all her books as a child several times, and I just loved the way she had all the red herrings, and it was so hard to guess the murderer.
Yeah.
That would be my first.
Okay. And when you then moved on from Agatha Christie, had you discovered other cozy mystery authors before you started writing your own cozies?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. Just Agatha Christie, then straight into cozies.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Excellent. And when did you write your first cozy mystery?
I think it was in 2011
Okay.
or 2010, something like that. And then I started reading everyone's cozies at that point.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
Yeah, I love cozies.
Yeah, me too. Also,
Yeah.
Agatha Christie, I know purists say she's not quite cozy, but some of her books are, some of them probably aren't. But regardless, the way that she creates these puzzles for us to solve, that's what I try to aspire to in my own books. So
Absolutely. And I love your movie club series, by the way.
thank you very much. I'm a huge fan of your, well, actually a couple of your series, but particularly the menopause mysteries.
Oh, yes.
Where did you get I know we're jumping because I was going to ask you about the book club book first, but let's just dive straight into the menopause mysteries because
Right.
alone the title is just so perfect. For anybody listening, not seeing it written down, it's menopause as in MENOPAWS. So pause as in cat, dog, etc. Where did you
Yes.
get the idea for the series?
Well, it was actually from Annabelle Chase.
Okay.
She said to me out of the blue one day, you should write a book about a talking cat.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, okay. And I started writing paranormal women's fiction before it was a thing in 2015 about a woman who had turned 50 and all the trouble she was having. And I thought, well, I'd like to write another one about a woman of that age who hears a cat talking and she thinks it's a symptom of menopause and she's going mad. And she goes to the doctor and the doctor, of course, thinks it's a symptom of menopause too and wants to give her hormone replacement therapy. So, yeah, that's what gave me the idea.
It's such a fun series and such a fun concept. And you, in general, you always have the best titles. Like your which series, I used to laugh every time you post a book with the new title. Where do you get your titles? Are they something that you have already thought of and saved, and then you find the story that works with it? Or is it the way around?
No, I always have the title before I write the book. I know some authors have like a cover image and then they'll get the inspiration, but I love to find the title first. Like my father was into puns, he was terrible. He was the world's worst punner. And so I think that's come down into my genes. But I do love a good pun.
Yeah,
But yeah, I definitely always have the title first, and then I'll come up with the ideas to fit the title.
that's fun. I often do the same. So I'm always interested in how other people
Yeah.
do it.
Yes.
So your book this month is from the Coco Narelle series. It's book one. And I absolutely love your twist on the classic sort of makeover story.
Oh, yeah.
How, and the revenge on high school bullies.
Yes.
It's the way you handle it is really unique. Can you tell us a little bit about the story and how you came to write it?
Well, I love a lot of chocolate and ice cream.
So why?
Do you? I think they're the two main food groups.
Yeah,
And I always
definitely.
thought, well, my sister always said, stop eating so much ice cream. If you want to lose weight, you can't eat so much ice cream and chocolate. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if in some world you could eat as much chocolate as you wanted and never put on any weight?
Mhm.
And then I thought, okay, what if this character put on, had, like, the poor thing obviously had a terrible accident, but then with all the plastic surgery, she used to look hideous and now she looked gorgeous, and she could eat as much as she liked and not put on any weight. And they used to call her name's Narelle, and the horrible kids at school called her Coco Narelle because she was obsessed with chocolate, always eating chocolate. But now she's a beautiful swan. She can eat as much chocolate as she likes, so she opens up a chocolate shop.
I
And
love
then
it.
I thought, I love killing people who've upset me in books.
Mhm.
And
It's so
like,
much
if
fun.
it is, it's so therapeutic.
Totally,
So
totally.
yeah, exactly. So if someone annoys me in life, I put them in a book and kill them.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of high school, I was bullied as a child. So I thought, well, I'll murder them all in a book. So I put them all in the book. I thought they can all die. And that's what I did. My oldest son was bullied at school too.
Yeah,
And I think everyone has either been bullied or they know someone who's been bullied. And I thought get revenge. Don't get mad, get even. And put them in a
exactly.
book. So I brought the two concepts together.
Yeah, that's so much fun. I think
Yeah.
I think yeah, a lot of us writers put our enemies into books and kill them off.
Yes.
Obviously, this is only fiction. We have that lovely little disclaimer in the copyright section that, all
Yeah.
resemblance to real people is non-existent, etc. But I think certainly experiences influence our characters for sure.
Absolutely. For sure.
So in addition to the Coco Narelle and the Menopause series, you have a lot of series out in Cozies. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about those?
Well, I have an Australian, all my books are set in Australia. And I must tell you, this is quite funny. A reader wrote to me recently and said, I should be ashamed of myself setting books in Australia because I've obviously never been here and don't know the first thing about Australia. And that was interesting. And then I said, look, I was born here. I've never
Yeah.
left except on holidays. And she didn't reply, but I thought that was a bit strange. But anyway, yeah, I've always, the Australian Amateur Sleuth is set in a small country town based on one where I used to live, out in the
Okay.
middle of nowhere. And it's also a non-paranormal one. And I based one of the characters on my aunt who passed away way too young. And yeah, I think we all draw on people we know for the books.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's has some quirky characters. And then let me see, what other series have I got? I always go blank. Then Misspelled, my Kitchen Witch series, that's my longest series. That's autobiographical with my cooking
Okay.
because I'm a dreadful cook. Like I'm always burning saucepans because I put something on to cook and then I'll go and write,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
the smoke alarm will go off and I'll run in and then there's flames and burnt saucepans and what
I've been
else?
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you?
I have been there, yes.
It's an author problem, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I have to set myself timers or I go straight into tunnel vision and forget all about things. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what happens. So in one of the books, I have the main character, Amelia Speld, wants to make a no-bake cake. And you're supposed to soak these chocolate cookies in sherry. Then you put cream in between them and shove them together, put in a fridge, and you serve it. I did this once when I was teaching at university. I thought I'll make a no-bake cake, but I didn't have any sherry. And it was not long after my divorce and I still had a bottle of my husband's scotch. So I thought, oh, that'll do, it's alcohol. So I soaked all the cookies in the sherry. And because everyone got extremely drunk, all my colleagues got extremely drunk. Everyone was in a very bad way because I made a really big cake and
Okay.
people had second and it was so nice they had second and third. I'm good at desserts. I'm good at baking, like cooking desserts, but nothing else. And everyone was extremely plastered. I don't know if that's a word I used over the world. Is it plastered? But
I totally understand. Plastered, extremely drunk, yes.
Yes. Yes. And so I put that in a book, and a lot of Amelia's cooking disasters, actually my cooking disasters go into my books.
So much fun. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have also put disasters of mine into various books, some cooking, some other crazy things. Yeah,
Oh, that's so
we can
funny,
definitely
isn't it?
mine our own lives for these things.
Yes, exactly. Everything is copy.
Mm-hmm. What I
Yeah.
find entertaining is that sometimes some of the things that I put in my earlier books that were actually autobiographical, I would get comments like, "Oh, this is too unrealistic. This is just too out there." I'm thinking that actually happened. That really happened.
Yes, same thing. I get reviews saying no one could cook that badly, and I thought, come and have a look at me. I can. This is just what happened. Yeah, isn't it funny?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I've got a series that's actually based on my mother, but I've toned her down for the books, the Witchwood Funeral Home series,
Okay.
where the girl has an overbearing mother and she has a friend. Well, my mother and her friend, I know they'd never read the books, but I actually put things they actually said and did in the book, but I had to tone her down, the fiction, because people wouldn't like it. So, and that's just straight biographical stuff. And people would probably think, oh, this is far-fetched. No one would do this, but they did.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The old saying of like truth is stranger than fiction. The weirdest things in the books are the things that actually happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you find how do you handle writing for an international audience? Because this is something that I'm also aware of
Yeah.
because I'm Irish, but I'm obviously selling my books to a wide audience. And I would say probably still the bulk of my readership is in the US. I think digital
Same.
books
Yeah.
are still mostly sold, or at least they are the biggest market for ebooks at the moment.
Yes.
How do you handle do you change your spellings in the books to accommodate? No, you use your own. Yeah.
I do have a glossary at the front of the book,
Okay.
but I don't know if people would notice it. I think sometimes, especially for Kindle, on wide, but especially for Kindle, I think it often opens at the first chapter. So I'm hoping it opens at the glossary. But back in the day, like 10, 11 years ago, I used to get bad reviews saying she spelled colour wrongly or
Yeah.
that because it wasn't American spelling. But touch wood, I haven't had that since I put out the glossary. Oh, that was Penny barking because I made a noise. I don't know if you heard. So I just use everything Australian spelling, which is the same as British, but I use
Yeah.
Australian expressions, but everything's in the glossary.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I try to make sure that if I'm using a very Irish phrase or something that's very typically Irish, that it can be understood in the context. People don't necessarily need to understand the word. I remember a couple of years ago, I was writing the word banjaxed into a book. I don't know if you have banjaxed in Australia. Basically, banjaxed is something that's totally broken. Like it's just, forget it, it's pum.
Right.
And I had it in the sentence and my editor highlighted it. So I had to then go back and say, okay, it's always on the question of, do I substitute it for another word or do I just rephrase the sentence so that it's perfectly obvious what this has to mean? So that's what I did. Yeah. And then there are times when I just say, okay, this is just too out there. People are not going to get this. Then I'm just going to substitute a different word.
Yeah. I do that sometimes as well. If I think it's not readily obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that people are very open to reading books that are set somewhere where they don't live, like somewhere completely new.
Yes.
And I have certainly noticed both in my reading behavior and in my readers' reading behavior, people are really enthusiastic because of the fact that travel has been restricted for the last couple of years. The idea of reading something that's set somewhere else is even more appealing at the moment. How have you found that?
Absolutely. And like people say, I loved reading about Australia. And like I love your movie club series because I love reading about Ireland. I've never been, I've always wanted to go. And I love the whole Irish flavour. It's like being there. So exciting.
I also love your Australian set books for exactly the same reason. I've never been to Australia, but it's on my list of a wish destination.
Yes, when we can fly again.
Oh, exactly. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
So what is next for you? Do you have any new books coming out, either in the Coco Norel series, in any of your other series?
Well, all my series are ongoing, except the middle-aged ghost whisperer. That was only a trilogy, but the character has moved into the menopause series as a supporting character. But I do have a new series coming out in February already. The prequel, the short free prequel is out there, 60 Sassy and Sleuthing.
Okay.
And then I have Saddled with Murder coming out in March. And it's obviously about a 60-year-old woman. And the world thinks she's washed up because she's 60. And I know in like probably your culture, my culture, in Western culture, usually people tend to see, like I know with the Indigenous Australians, they will call someone who's, say, over 50 and like a good person an elder, whereas white culture calls them elderly. Yes. And if you think of the two terms, they're polar opposites. Elder, respect, elderly tends to be condescending. And so I've brought that into this book, but she runs a horse rescue and there's a cat involved.
Okay.
Another sort of a cat with a mysterious sort of moth-eaten looking grumpy old cat who turns out to be an ancient man.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
And you said that the prequel is already available, or sorry, am I getting the series wrong for the...
No, the prequel is available. 60 Sassy and Sleuthing is the prequel. Okay. Yeah.
So that's already available for anybody who wants to give that series a go before the first book comes out.
Exactly. It's free on all retailers.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that out. I haven't seen it. So where can readers find you? Do you have website, newsletter, reader group? Where do you prefer that they go check you out?
Anywhere they like. My website is morganabest.com and I have a newsletter there. They can click through on there to find my newsletter. But at the front of every book, I give away a free book if they want to join my newsletter. And it's a prequel to the Misspelled series.
Nice.
They can, misspelled as free. So
Mhm.
if they want to join my newsletter and get a free prequel, they just go to the front of that book.
That's cool. Well, thank you so much for the interview today. It's been such fun chatting with you.
Yes, great to
Really
meet
enjoyed
you
it.
finally.
Exactly.
We've chatted for
Exactly.
years on the internet, but not face to
Yes.
face.
This is our first time face to face. That's right.
Yeah, yes.
That is definitely a pro to the book club, getting to know new people. And yeah,
Yes.
it's been
Yeah,
fun.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, goodbye, everybody in the book club. We'll be back next month with a new interview. And in the meantime, happy reading.